Cool. Okay.
Okay, everyone. Welcome so much. This is the beginning of Tesoro's new season. We're here at the Aperitif concerts, and we are lucky enough to be able to chat with and hear from Emily Cordes, who is the author of Queen of Swords. Um, I'm not going to bother to introduce her because I like for folks to sort of handle that themselves. Okay. Instead, I will talk about Tesoro a little bit. We are an international network of women who work in words. And Tesoro was created to protect, maintain, and create spaces where women can work in words safely. We started with poets because that's my backyard. My name is Stacey Dyson, and I am the founder of Tesoro as well as the lead poet. Right now, we have poets, songwriters, storytellers. If you work in words and you're a woman or identify as a woman, um, that's where we are right now. We have members all over the United States. We also have members in Canada, Mexico, Portugal, Australia, England, and South Africa. We haven't conquered Asia and Antarctica yet, but give me time. We're working on it. So, as I say, we are beyond grateful to have Emily Cordes here tonight. And Emily, I'm going to start you out with a question that I ask everybody, and you can interpret it however it is you need to interpret it, or however you want to. And just kind of go from there.
Cool.
So the question is, why poetry and why now?
That is a really good one. I think I think poetry, like any art form, I think it really helps us to connect to stuff on and to each other on a very deep and emotional level. I think words have a lot of power and a lot of resonance. And if you're able to really express concepts and ideas in a very impactful way, I think it can hit deeper in a very articulate way. It can hit deeper than just normal discussion. I think art is a really great entry point, art of any form, to understanding one another and understanding deeper concepts. And I think poetry really does have the power to, hit us right in the heart.
An interesting phrase, in the heart. Because I've spoken to people who say, well, I write from my heart. I've spoken to people who say, I write from my head. I've spoken to people who say they write, depending on outside influences. Where do you fall in all that?
All of the above and more, really.
All
I
of
think, yeah. I mean, I think I obviously I have emotional connections and personal connections to pretty much everything I'm writing about, even if I'm just writing about like something that's purely fun and silly. But I take my inspiration from just all over. I think prompts are always fun, and it's like fun excuses. I write a lot from like kind of my personal life. I write a lot inspired by the world around me, or just kind of ideas or concepts to which I gravitate. I think everything is really kind of fair game, and I think that even in subtle ways, I think just everything I take in, kind of finds its way into my art one way or another. It's like you take it in, you filter it, and it comes on this just kind of collage of all kinds of references.
Okay. What is it that makes you write? What's the trigger? What's the springboard? Or is there anything, or are you just lightning strikes, or you just decide I need to write today? Or how does that part of your process work?
That's also a very much all of the above kind of a thing. It's like sometimes I just get inspired and I have an idea and I like have to get down on paper. Other times I have to like sort of, rely on prompts or incentives or accountability or things like that to get it going. I'm a really big fan of the phrase inspiration comes, but it has to find you working. And I think that like sometimes you get that lightning thing in the doing of it. Sometimes you just got to like do the work, put the pen to paper, and sometimes it kind of follows. Other times it's more of a like bolt from the blue kind of a thing. It's the muses can be fickle, but I've found generally, that to be true. And like I was saying, I think anytime I really just feel very strongly about something, feel very strongly like emotionally connected to something that needs to be said or expressed that sort of catalyzes me to put it on paper in one way or another.
What about, because I don't know a poet now who's not dealing with national and international events. And I think probably that's quite honestly an ongoing thing throughout history. This is, poets. How much of a catalyst is that? What's going on in?
Yeah, I think it, even though my work is not always political, I think that, you can't not be affected by what's going on in the world as just like a person living in it. And sometimes when things are just really horrifying in the world, I don't have the words for it. And sometimes poetry can be a way of like processing or understanding or giving voice to that which, I struggle to express. So I think, and like I was saying, I mean, I think, art, poetry can really impact hearts and minds in a lot of way too. I don't really, I don't really like the idea that like there's pressure for the artist to speak out. But I think that, artists are able to speak out in a very meaningful and eloquent way. And I think that I think that the world needs that.
You said you don't really think that there's a need for artists to be pressured. Is it pressure or is it obligation?
I don't know, maybe a little of both. I mean, I think anything you're doing should come from a genuine place, from a genuine desire, not because, it's expected of you, or because maybe it's kind of there's a sense of judgment or pressure. But I think, and saying that obviously, the choice to speak out or be silent, that does change based on your level of privilege, obviously. But I think that I really do believe that, and they ideally things should be motivated by just a genuine desire to contribute to the world versus like some kind of sense of sense of like obligation, I guess.
Yeah. Um, Earliest memory of doing this.
Of writing.
Mhm.
um wow, that's I've been writing pretty much since I was like a preteen. I wrote more in, I kind of wrote more, I turned more into like poetry and stuff in like high school and college. But I probably one of the most meaningful things I remember when I was in fourth grade was when I really kind of started to, realize that I had more of a knack for it. I remember my fourth grade teacher was just like, keep writing, Emily. And I think it was, we had some kind of unit on like ancient Greece or something like that. And I wrote some kind of like short story as part of an assignment about this woman who like dressed up as a man to participate in ancient Greek theater or something like that. And it was like I was kind of just connected to my sort of the political thing. I always write from like a very feminist lens. And I think I was, definitely I've been a feminist kind of from birth. And I think I was sort of writing from that place even then. And just having, I was lucky that I had, people in my life, teachers, parents, mentors, who have always kind of, as Beowulf likes to say, encouraging my behavior where my artistry is concerned. So that was kind of where it started, and I just kind of, more and more find my voice and find my step with it.
What is the most fun that you've had on stage?
Oh wow, that's on stage as a poet, because I'm also an
Bearing
actor.
in mind that this will be on YouTube, so
Yeah,
if it's
I know.
something that you don't want your priest or your parole officer to hear, then you
Oh
might want to,
well,
like keep that to yourself. But aside,
I think probably just a lot of the hybrid mics that we did at the New Eureka Poets Cafe back when, the pandemic like had just like things that started opening up again. That high was just so palpable. Not only just the high of like getting to do this in person together, and like you've got half the poets there on stage and half the poets on Zoom, and it's surreal, really. Like you're, doing that, you've got this big projection screen with like your face and the Zoom thing like going on behind you as you're reading in real time. And inhabiting so many spaces, but those events were always just so much fun because they were just raucous and exciting, and we were all just like so supportive of each other. Those are always some of the better times, and I think that some of the first times when we were able to actually like do that, it was like we're out of the cage and we're ready to party.
Rockets, poets. I've never heard of such a thing. Um,
You
I
should
mean,
see
I
our
don't know.
karaoke nights. You
Yeah,
should see.
I probably shouldn't. Um, what I'm always curious to hear from other writers and poets, especially, is do you think there's a time where you're not going to be doing this anymore? Do you think there's a time when you'll stop?
Wow. Honestly, no. I mean, even if I don't like publicly share it, I'm always gonna write. I think like writing is how I process things, writing is how I understand the world. That being said, I think, poetry is meant to be shared. It's meant to be shared, it's meant to be heard. And it is a bit of an addiction once you start, like as I mentioned, I'm more of an actress, by trade, but once I started kind of getting more into performing my poetry, you can definitely get hooked on it very easily. So I don't expect it to end anytime soon.
Mhm. So, I tell people all the time, poets never stop working, we just run out of ink.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so pretty much that vibe. Tell us a little bit. I know you're going to be reading us some selections from, but tell us a little bit about Queen of Swords and what got you there.
Yeah, well, excuse me, I'm still getting over little sniffles, so if I seem a little blah. Anyways, so this here is Queen of Swords. It's inspired by the tarot, and I've been reading tarot pretty much as long as I've been writing poetry, since I was roughly like a preteen. And I really consider both, ways of processing and interpreting the world. And I actually think if it's okay, I'd like to read from my intro, because I think that kind of explains some of the backstory behind how this book
Yeah,
started.
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, one of my literary mentors, Eric Words Maldonado, again, shout out to Advocate of Words. He was one of the hosts of the New Eurekans open mics, online open mics and in-person ones. He likens poetic ability to a sword. Those who carry it can use its power to honor or defend what we value, cut through confusion, or tear down that which no longer serves. In the tarot, the Queen of Swords card is the feminine embodiment of this principle. I think we might need someone to mute. Sorry. I'm getting a little feedback. Sorry. Um, sorry. Yeah, the feminine embodiment of this principle, a woman who uses her words and intellect to bring truth, clarity, and righteousness to the world. Alternately, she can represent the perils of brandishing these weapons in coldness or anger, or the isolation and difficulty that can come from setting boundaries and standing firmly in one's convictions. As time, self-work, and creative growth have brought me into contact with the many forms of this energy, the Queen of Swords has become an archetype into which I'm living, a reminder to simultaneously stand in my power and lead with my heart. Yeah, I think we are getting a little feedback there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hearing a dude's voice from my mic. Really? Okay. Uh, I don't know what to tell you, but
It's all good.
um,
Well, we'll keep it going.
yeah, we'll keep it
Yeah,
going.
but yeah, I liked. Hey, maybe some ghosts in here. Yeah, and I was with this book, I was also getting a little more conceptual than with my last book. In that there are, so I don't know if for those who are familiar or not familiar with tarot, it's divided into two sections. One is the major arcana, which is kind of like picture cards or archetypes like the lovers, the fool, the chariot, and so forth. The other section is called the minor arcana. It's structured a little more like a traditional playing card deck with cards 1 through 10 and king, queen, knight, and page. And that's got 56 cards. So I wrote 56 poems, one for each card of the minor arcana, plus a standalone card. So in the tarot deck, the Fool is card 0. So I wrote a separate poem for the Fool. So And like a tarot reading, this functions as kind of it's a journey. It's a journey from question to answer, from innocence to knowledge, from to self-actualization and sharing your wisdom with the world. So this is in a lot of like form and content, I was really deeply inspired by the tarot, and it's been really fun just kind of seeing how this really even functions playing out in the world as well as I'm sharing it.
Okay, well, that's a perfect intro to your time to shine. So for the next 30 minutes, dazzle us, honey.
Fantastic. Okay. So the very first poem I'm going to read is the title poem, Queen of Swords. Let me find it. I did bookmark a couple of these, but you still got to flip sometimes. Here we go. Okay. Queen of Swords. In the wise words of wise words, poets wield their gifts like swords, to knight the worthy or cut as they choose. Used justly, they'll illuminate. Used carelessly, can obfuscate. Used cruelly, can impale or maim or bruise. I've been the Queen of Cups, chalice offered up in love. Been Queen of Wands with fiery torch ablaze. I've nurtured Empress gardens and unwound the devil's snares, but this tower's crumbling and it's time to raise. So I'll unsheath my sword, hoist it high and say no more, to protect or sever as befits the day. Toxic tongues hiss in my ear, wormy thoughts of hate or fear. I shrug them off. My court is not their place. And I'll be just, but won't adjust my borders to house bullshit from fools who won't accept their proper station. And my queendom will be beacon for my kindred cross the globe, the people of the quill and brush and stage. And with our sword pens brandished, we'll inscribe in air and fire 1,000 different worlds of our creation. Thank you. Okay, let me find another one to do here. So one of the best things about being a published poet and being part of such an awesome poetry community is that there is a lot of trading of books. I have a to read list that it may be very long before I get to it, but it is a delightful, problem to have. And this, I wrote a book called Coffee and Poetry. A nice little thing I like to do is start my mornings while I just, drink my coffee and read some poems from one of my friend's books. So this is called Coffee and Poetry. Each morning, I drink poems in tiny sips. Finest part of waking up, chapbook spooning with my cup, kitty curled up at my feet, brain fog clearing, word steam swirling strong and sweet like Roz's Bustelo, a hello from my wordsmiths round the world, reaching out across the ether, gently fortifying me. Before the day creeps in and the matrix tugs my anchor, sucked down into that dark sea of the inbox and to-do list, I'll float across the paper and remember Wilde's decree that all art is quite useless. And thank God for this, because the grind's a coffee grinder and your sanity's the grist. When the buzz, the productivity gives your nerves the Java jitters, gotta disrupt the addiction or the shakes and aches kick in. And these tiny private pleasures keep you humming through the day. No crash landings, just a smooth and steady drip. And my thorn-adorned muse from the woven tapestry across the room winks her unibrowed eye at me and whispers a reminder. Love this earth. Take it in your arms today like the lovers you deserve, who'll look upon you like your magic, wake beside you from shared dreams, and each morning take away the lies and bring you hope, coffee, and poetry. And it's actually, the title is a poem. There's a Frida Kahlo quote. I'm a huge Frida Kahlo nerd, and I will follow this up with, I wrote a poem about her. And she has a quote, I'm paraphrasing, it's like, you deserve a lover who will look at you like your magic and take away the lies and bring you hope, coffee, and poetry. So on that note, I want to read a poem called Frida's Revenge about my love for Frida Kahlo. Excuse me. Highly recommend if you ever get the chance to go to Mexico City, visit her house. It's a museum and also, you know, a historical site. It is a pilgrimage. It was a pilgrimage. So this is called Frida's Revenge. It's almost a trope to claim Kahlo as one's Shiro, exotic and artistic in the vein of white blonde girls enshrouded in white sage, urban outfitter shawls and Coachella war bonnets, self-care con sabor, a bobo brunch drink garnish. And as a dorky white girl, I claim no right to her. My truth a vintage record just shy of hipster vinyl, stutter skipping stereotypes as I'm trying to tread lightly in this newly gentrified backyard, hoping my presence won't superimpose juice presses over batidos, subletting at gouged prices the space our bodies stole. But who among us, slightly dark and fertile souls, can't see ourselves behind the arch of bat-wing eyebrows, playing hide and seek as we peek through window slats in ribs, and wake each day to repair and unwind our tangled souls and fix the crumbling columns of our spines, our árboles de vida engirded in 1,000 thorny vines, but standing tall like beacons in the night, as we hold our bleeding doubles, hands and throats and beating hearts entwined by one thin red umbilical, we toe that finest line between folk art cliche and archetype, the wounded healer Chiron, with a body not quite human, not quite something else entirely. We walkers between worlds, skilled swappers of 1,000 skins and forms. Like self-stitched dresses, memories adorn us, painted on the plaster corsets that ensconce our mortal bodies frail and wild. We wear our pain and our strange like jewelry, not the cheap kind, pretty bleeding valentines, on sale for tipsy tourists, charmingly commodified, but trophies like the bones of what we conquered, proof it couldn't kill us though it tried. For living well's the best revenge, and it's the highest victory to make your art into a work of life. Thank you. I'm gonna flip around a little bit here. There, I'm trying to think what I'm feeling to read here. Okay, so this one, Marilee is, I'll give a shout out to Marilee here. She is the facilitator of a Sunday writers group that I admittedly I don't pop into as much as I would like, but I am part of it, and it's also a great group for incentive, accountability, a chance to workshop what you're working on. And one of our assignments was to write a villanelle, and I live not too far from Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and they roughly about a year ago, and it was like early February, they found an alligator in the park, like in the lake in the park, like someone just dumped it in the lake. I think it must have been like someone's like exotic pet that they just abandoned there. And I was inspired to write this villanelle called Gators and Swans. It's a villanelle for Godzilla, the Prospect Park alligator. An alligator gentrified the pond, invasive beast by God and man reviled, or perhaps she reclaimed it from the swans. A species Brooklyn's ample hills ne'er spawned, or ancestor from days the land was wild. An alligator gentrified the pond. Her presence shocking birds and park slope moms. False fledgling left exposed like bastard child, returned to reclaim sovereignty from swans. For natives in this country don't last long, from swamps and marshlands of their births exiled by predators who gentrify the ponds and hold this fragile planet in their jaws, while mutant creatures o'er the spoils preside and bloodied rising suns claim moths and swans. May seraphs armored fierce with scales and claws receive thee, for earth shuns its meek and mild. Godzilla, fallen hero of the pond, reclaiming urban wastelands from the swans. Thank you. Let me see if I can find Okay, so this one, this is a totally random, since we were talking about some of our raucous karaoke nights, this is a very inside joke tribute to our Zoom karaoke's that have happened within the poetry community. It's called Cornflake Girls. When the weeks reached its hump and you're taking your lumps, some karaoke always lifts your night. So when your raisin girls drop planking vibes, you get the keys from Rabbit, cue up YouTube with the track, and put this damn machine in overdrive. This thespian's no stranger to La Drunken Vie Boheme, and we're all just theater kids unleashed in the cosmic Denny's. Unlike Ms. Prada, I don't just sing when I come, but if you can make it happen, doesn't make you Jersey Jesus. And if you want inside me, well, boy, you better make that raspberry swirl, 'cause this girl needs some milk for her cornflakes, like Franco's unsweetened almond. Got my little fascist panties in a wad. Better stick around for breakfast, 'cause we're going all night long. This room's got all the colors of earth, wind machine, and fire. Ain't no place for no heroes or no better men, but we've got our blenderman. God damn, is this shit real? This is not really happening. You bet your life it is. But don't panic, because Ron's driving this Titanic, and our jukebox karaoke hearts go on. Even though we all agree, Rose just hogged that fucking door, and the ship had fewer holes than that damn plot. But we walked the line and we're feeling fine, all us boys and girls named Sue. So we'll love each other like that till we throw it down tomorrow, because Thursday night with Bruja is round 2. And unlike God, sometimes your girls come through. High five if you can get any of those references in joke song references. It was just, I was just like, you know what? Let's just write some random stuff. It's fun. Let me see what else I have on the set list here. I am inspired a lot by my immediate environment, and I've written a couple of poems about different places in New York City and my connection to them. Excuse me. This one was written after going to an outdoor ecstatic dance event in January in McCarran Park in Brooklyn on an unseasonably warm day after New Year's. It's called Tandava. January 2nd finds me outdoors, dancing under cloudy Brooklyn skies. Boots mud-caked, soles ecstatic like our Woodstock predecessors. Bless cursed to witness interesting times. Feet charting out intentions as my head's unspooling poems. Welcoming a year so young and infinitely old. 360s spun on this high 50s day. Knit hoodies, fingerless gloves, fresh boosters, and KN95s are prayer-thin barriers as the oceans and the numbers surge and rise. Spines ripple and arms undulate, but the knot between my shoulder blades won't leave, can't shake the past from off my back. Should charge rent for how long that monkey stayed. Another page turns, strange how little changes. My 34th found me in this same park, slam jamming to Nirvana, masked and joyful, hope rippling through the mild November dark. Are we brave or merely brazen, or just stupid and contagious? Dancing rings round wilting roses, spiraling toward life or death with every passing day. In India, they say, the great god Shiva dances ringed with flames, poised gracefully between rebirth and sheer annihilation. When his dance starts, the world will terminate. But other versions say, in motion he sustains us. When he stops is where it ends. So cosmic DJs keep that music playing, spin galaxies and chakras like turntables. Can't fall asleep at wheels or at the decks. Until our last day comes, gods and creators, we dance each new beginning till the end. Thank you. I am also a fan of haikus, and I have one of the interesting things about, reading my poetry online and going to all these events is that I like everyone have a, you know, love-hate relationship with social media, and it can always be such an interesting dynamic. So I wrote a 10 haiku series called Social Anxiety Media. Existential dread. If we weren't tagged in a post, were we even there? Social feedback loop. Share of shared share. Rose is rose is rose. Self-care irony. Skipped event to get some sleep. FOMO scroll till dawn. Photo tag alert. Self-esteem Russian roulette. 4, 3, 2, 1, click. Cannot be unseen. Bad pics can be scrubbed from feed, not so much from brain. Once shared, thrice removed. Each repost expands the gap from the lived event. Words are flowing out. Endless rain in paper cup. No, that's just my feed. Longing for the days when trees fell in forests and soul tweets came from birds. Heathen God demands, pay your tithe in likes and shares. Do it for the gram. Funny memes, cat pics, life updates from distant friends. Damn it, guess I'll stay. Thank you. How much more time do we have, Stacey?
Darling, you're good to go. You've got about another 15 minutes.
Ooh, nice. Fun. Okay. I think I will read one more from my list. And then one thing that I like to do is open this up to a little light audience participation to determine what I'm going to read next. Again, no pressure to even speak because we type stuff in the chat, but that's a little fun thing I like to do sometimes. So I just opened up to a poem called Gazpacho, which is speaking a little bit about my artistry. Another quote that I like is by Amanda Palmer, who is she's a musician. She's a very talented solo artist and also the front woman for the Dresden Dolls. And she writes in her book, The Art of Asking, about how art is like gazpacho in terms of like, and everyone's life experience is kind of the ingredients. And some people will blend that up like really fine and like disguise their personal life in the art. And others will just be like, here's my life. I'm being super confessional, and it's just a matter of like how you like to do it. So I bring you gazpacho. I borrow this metaphor, like sugar from my neighbor. Art's like gazpacho, and your life is the tomatoes, onions, peppers, cilantro. Some folks mix it smooth, blend it unrecognizable. Others throw the whole garden, fresh plucked, roughly chopped, on the table. I've never been comfy with my truth on the line. It's unprocessed and it's messy. Can't shoot it unrefined. Gotta strain away the pulp, mash it up and pulverize, stomp down and distill it till it's something you'd enjoy, polite at dinner time. Goes down easy, a digestive, won't upset any stomach or derail any diet. Your paleo, your keto, your oh no, here we go, not again, need some cheese to line my stomach for this girl's wine. So I season with apologies, like my vegan food dished up to omnis. I know it's a hard sell. You might not like what I like, but it tastes the same or pretty close if you close your eyes. So just give it a try. As I bat my eyes, stir the batter and try to butter up your eye rolls. Hoping, like that same cold soup at Lisa Simpson's barbecue, it won't get fed to dogs while others feast on flesh. Because with salad at a potluck, you don't win friends. It's a matter of taste. You could be the sweetest peach like Ms. Von Teese, seated like a charming garnish on the rim of a martini, and there'll always be someone who just won't eat. The fruits of my orchard might be bittersweet, acquired tastes, but I've worked too hard to tend these seeds. Fed the soil with tears and prayers, and they don't come cheaply. So don't yuck my yum. I can't always be pleasing. Switching toppings with crowds, always customized neatly. But like pizza, deep dished, deadpan, or crust sprouted and live. Even when I'm bad, I'm good. And my words are dollar slices served up for my people, or my grandma's pizzelles, warm from the iron to feed you. No traps here, just love for the honeys I see. Stir it up in your tea, soothe your soul and body. And if I'm not your cuppa, that's just fine by me. Because life's a buffet, pick and choose what you take. And everyone here's got a place at this feast. Thank you. All right. So, like a tarot reading, I have found that this book sometimes likes to be shared according to the energy of the group. And, so I'm going to do a little divination here to see what kind of poem messages the group most needs to hear. So if folks can give me a number between 1 and 151, I type in the chat or speak it out loud, whatever you like, and I will read the poem on that page. 150. Okay. I may have just read. Okay. So this one, okay, so 150, it's pretty long and it's a collaboration. So I kind of don't really do collaborations unless the other person's present. Can we get another one if that's okay? Oh, wait, we got 9. Okay, hold on. We got 9. Okay, we got a couple votes for 9 and we got 76. All right. So number 9, number 9, hurricanes. Okay. This one was part of another element of Queen of Swords was about sort of the journey I was on in the 2 years I was writing. It was learning in a lot of different ways to set boundaries and be a lot more selective about the energy I let into my life or the people I let into my life. And Hurricanes was written after reaching a bit of a breaking point with a friend. So this is called Hurricanes. I'm through dodging hurricanes, though the climate may be lovely, and the sand and soil and rivers glitter full of mica memories. There comes a point when you can't keep pulling up tent stakes, hefting on exhausted shoulders, bags you've repacked and restuffed to fit again and again. Tearing down every shelter you've built flimsy, ironically, appropriately, because you know you won't stay there for long. I am done keeping eyes always trained on the horizon, shoulders tensed at every looming cloud or changing wind, never knowing when a drizzle could devolve and ripple outward and become a whirlpool that'll suck you in. And the road on which you flee might spool romantically, but can't replace a place inside. I've left so much, I've even lost its name. Deserves an invasive species, harsh and foreign on this island, but needs a fruit imported that I'm rolling on my tongue. And I need better than this life I've come to live. Amphibious, ambiguous, twixt shaky ground and rising waters, draining outward, bleeding from within. I've abandoned chasing storms. It's not worth it anymore. And I'm ready for my rain dance to reverse. Spiraling out instead of downward, I'll spin calm within the eye, sacred geometrics whirling like a dervish. One palm up to catch the stars that fall into my hands like raindrops, commanding, not imploring heaven's grace. Half believing, never knowing, but with every footstep hoping the path ahead ends in a better place. Thank you. Okay, we got 76 from Marilee. Oh, that was Queen of Swords. I already read that one. What else we got? It's always kind of a dice roll. Sometimes you get the ones you read, sometimes not. Numbers. 5, 15. We got 5 and we got 15. Let's see. I think, yeah, Coffee and Poetry was 5. So let's see what 15 is. Oh, regression songs. Okay, this one's fun. Okay. You push me once, too many. I'll push at you right back. Flooded by your ocean when all I need's a glass. My Aries moon swirls tempest tides. This kitten bites and scratches. The Florence Welch you see today gets sucked straight down the rabbit hole to childhood rooms where Sarah reigned and adolescent black lambs seesawed between Rage Against Machines and Joni's blue-hued raptures. Pressed buttons load the jukebox with our old songs overplayed, and Needling drops the record, a top 40 shit parade. My ears fill up with static, can't differentiate each note. It's a miasma, a cacophony of hate. And all our better angels have long since flown this place. Melodic hymns, now battle songs, divorced from former grace. I watch myself grow in reverse. Devolved communication, when Mercury's worn vintage garb makes retro cool again, and Saturn, that old house gets, comes with trunks full of complaints, can't move with years of unpacked baggage cluttering the basement. There's no room in my arms for you. I've saved that space for me. Please understand this wasn't planned, but it's necessity. I'll build a house inside my chest where broken birds can feed. And with forgotten lullabies, I'll rock my soul to sleep. And maybe in that silence, find a sweeter harmony. And from regression, rise again, from tired songs, set free. Thank you. We have time for maybe just one more, and then we can open up to questions. That sound good? All right, one more number. 76. Do we have another 76? Let's see, 76. 76. You keep coming back to Queen of Swords. That was the title. What else we got? Sorry. 40. Okay, what do we got? 40. Yes. Okay, this is such a perfect one to end on. Okay, so if everyone has a beverage of choice, I invite you to raise it up. If not, just raise up your fist. Fist bumps are perfectly okay. So this is called cheers. Arriba, raise your glass, fill it up, heads lifted to the sky, hearts opened up, full of love for the ones who got our backs and guard our fronts. Keep us waving, not drowning when the clouds erupt. Abajo, get low, throw it down. May the freaks and the mystics come bless this round. You and me, spill the tea, feel the pulse in the ground, pour a drop in respect for the ones not around. Al centro, to the middle where we meet, to the circles we form, can't stop the beat because we're living it up. And the days are sweet, building fires, all can gather around. Come on and feel the heat. Pa dentro, toss it back, bottoms up. This one's for us all, so raise your cups. Pound it down for the community that fills us up. May our glasses never empty. And here's to us. Cheers. That was such a perfect note to end on. Wow, that was kismet, man.
That was great. I love that. Y'all open up your mics. Throw this lady some roses. She certainly deserves them.
That's wonderful, Emily. You really enjoyed your program.
That was fantastic. Oh my God, I love the tarot inspirations.
Thank you. I'm also going to drop my info in the chat if folks want to follow me or order my book or find out anything. If you'd like a signed copy of my book, DM me. I will get it in the mail. Can't promise it'll be timely. I'm doing my best to get everything out, but if you want a signed copy, hit me up.
Fantastic. And is there a place where you're reading next, either virtually or live and in person?
Yeah, my next virtual reading is on February 13th. It's the Heart of the Artist series with I believe it's with Open Minds Open Mic. And I'm trying to still get some other in-person things orchestrated. I'm aiming to get like an in-person release event in February or March, probably somewhere in Brooklyn, New York. And I believe March 13th, Shocky G, I'm going to be reading on Shocky's mic. So I will post obnoxiously about those on my socials when the time comes. But you can follow me on any of those accounts, and word will get out when the time is right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Very, very cool. Fantastic. So y'all support an artist, buy the book. Okay. I mean, I can't really put it any stronger than that. Support it if you're able to support an artist and buy the book. Thank you, dear heart. Thank you, dear heart, so much for coming to open our season for us, the Soto season for us. I do truly appreciate it. And it was lovely to be able to hear more of your work than is contained in, 3 to 5 minutes. So there's always that. We will have our next Aperitif concert on the 29th, so in 10 days, and we'll be hearing from the newest Tesoro member, Tabitha Adams, otherwise known as Tab Madu. Yeah, Tabitha is quite something. So if y'all need to be somewhere, that's where you need to be. In the meantime, to find out more about Tesoro, you can go to www.firesingers.com. Keep an eye on Facebook, on Instagram, on your emails if you're on our mailing list, because we have just all manner of commotion going on this year. And we would love to see you wherever we are causing trouble. So thank you so much, everyone who came out for this. Let's give another round of applause, a little bit more flower throwing or
Yay,
Emily?
Emily, beautiful. I
Thank
love the
you.
diversity of your pieces. It was fun.
Thank you. And Stacey, thank you for inviting me to come on this. This is so much fun to get to share this with people.
Absolutely, dear Heartless. We're always glad to have people who are out there working the hustle and doing it the right way. So thank you again. You
Uh,
all have a,
Can I
yes, Nona.
do a request? Can we see the cover again?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the cover's gorgeous, by the
Jay
way.
Danner is the cover artist. She is incredible. Let me just, so I try to type one-handed here. Shane, she is an amazing poet in her own right, also a visual artist, a coach.
She's
And
also a Tesoro member. So
Ah, there we go.
yeah, she is an amazing individual. Please follow her and show her some love too. Trying to angle this so my ring light doesn't like reflect off the covers.
there you go. It's okay.
I think that's why they make a lot of these books matte as opposed to shiny. So when you get your ring light, it won't.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. Cool.
Again, fantastic. Thank you again so much. We're going to go ahead and, as they used to say back in the day, peace out. I would tell y'all to stay out of trouble, but we don't know how to do that. So I don't know why
Oh,
I should be
no.
asking you to do that.
Good trouble.
So I will just end this the way that I end most conversations with my students. If you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught. If you do get caught, I have no idea who you are. Y'all have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you around the way. Bye-bye.
You get
Bye.
it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.